Steve, Michelle, good evening. This is now the second weekend in a row that we have seen these violent confrontations play out down there. And we have just learned that Olympia Police made 4 arrests. The department also saying that 4 of its officers were injured in that riot. And that's not all. Take a look at the video that we shot down at the state capitol. Just steps from the state capitol this afternoon, a pro-Trump rally and counter-protesters come face to face, with brawls eventually breaking out in the streets and both sides throwing things at each other. Troopers with Washington State Patrol and Olympia Police moving in to break them up.
We deployed our RDF, or Rapid Deployment Force, to respond to any sort of disruption.
A few hours into these dueling demonstrations, WSP says someone was shot. A witness says that a man with the pro-Trump group pulled the trigger after some kind of fight.
He had his gun aimed like sideways and waved it east to west motion at multiple counter-protesters and then shot. Discharged his weapon.
Detectives now investigating that shooting, saying a suspect and others are detained.
I'm a classical musician, a singer, and a conductor.
Brian Filer mostly does work with choirs and occasionally some solo work when the pandemic hit in March.
I would say about 75% of my income was based off of being a performer, and all of those opportunities just dried up immediately.
Nearly 100,000 gig workers, independent employees, and self-employed people count on the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, or PUA program. For Filer, those federal unemployment benefits help with rent, food, or health care.
It was vital to receive that extra help.
Most PUA recipients get about $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month. This week, Governor Jay Inslee says if Congress does not act, he's going to offer a temporary relief package so people don't fall off that cliff.
That's really heartening to see. It is critical that the federal government acts, and it's great to see the state stepping up and filling in some of the gap.
Pastry chef Michelle Orgill does not get PUA, but instead gets extended unemployment benefits called PEUC.
That federal program also expires the day after Christmas if Congress doesn't act.
I appreciate the last minute help and the everybody swooping in, grants and things like that. But ultimately, what we all want is security and being able to live without having to worry about next month. I've been living month to month now since March.
In Seattle, Suzanne Fawn, KOMO News.
Well, those first injections are expected to go to high-risk healthcare workers who could get COVID-19 on the job.
Nurse Jacob Kosteka at Providence St. Peter in Olympia is working another 12-hour shift today.
I work with COVID patients every day.
He'll be among the first to get the COVID-19 vaccine when it arrives.
There's not going to be enough for everybody, not for all the nurses and doctors. So they're looking at key individuals who work with high-risk units, high-risk patients.
Nurse Karen Goheen is in the acute care float pool at Harborview Medical Center. She got COVID-19 back in March and returned to work in May.
It'll be important for me to get the vaccine so I continue to have immunity.
Besides doctors and nurses, staff at nursing homes and senior living facilities will be among the first in the country to get vaccinated. Murano Senior Living in Seattle has 65 staff members taking care of its residents.
Well, we've had a number of web calls with both our home office as well as CVS Pharmacy, which we have contacted with to help us oversee the rollout of the vaccine.
Many frontline workers say they've been anxiously waiting for the COVID-19 vaccine.
We need it in order for us to keep doing our jobs.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.